Good evening. On tonight's broadcast, we will continue last week's conversation and analysis of failures of the Affordable Health Care website and other problems that have come in the first month of the program's rollout. Later on, we will discuss the troubling disclosures of NSA activities. Will they change the way the NSA conducts business? I'm Megan Roberts, and this is The Rundown. We begin tonight with breaking news out of Alabama. A bomb threat at the Birmingham Shuttlesworth International Airport has led to an evacuation. Reports coming in from the airport's website as well as its Twitter account say that one of their terminals had to be evacuated. The evacuation was prompted by a threat received around 4 o'clock this evening. Because of the evacuation, flights have been delayed. At least 6 flights scheduled to land in Birmingham have been diverted. We will have more on this developing story tomorrow on Top in the Morning. Tuesday is Election Day, and although this year will lack much of the excitement that we saw last year, one state has big decisions to make come Tuesday. Virginia is on a tight race to elect a new governor. President Barack Obama hit the campaign trail today in the battle for Virginia governor. The president spoke at a rally for Democratic candidate Terry McAuliffe. He is in a tight race with Virginia's Attorney General, Republican Ken Cuccinelli. According to a recent poll, 45% of likely voters in the Commonwealth support McAuliffe, 38% back Cuccinelli. Today, President Obama spoke in Arlington, Virginia, making a call for voters to get to the polls. Take a listen to what he had to say.
Are you willing to make sure that those family members who don't always vote during off-year elections are getting to the polls? Are you willing to make your case every single hour, every single minute, every single second? Are you going to be willing to outwork and out-hustle the other folks? Because I guarantee you, Terry McAuliffe is going to be outworking and out-hustling the other guy over the next few hours. You can bring this home. You can make this happen, but you've got to make sure that everybody goes out on Tuesday and chooses a better future for Virginia and chooses a better future for America and chooses Terry McAuliffe to be the next governor of the great Commonwealth of Virginia.
And New York City will also be making big decisions come Tuesday. Outgoing New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg is reflecting on his 3 terms in office. New York City voters will choose a new mayor on Tuesday. Bloomberg told CNN's Fareed Zakaria the legacy he hopes to leave behind and the lessons he hopes the next mayor will adopt.
I think most of the things we've done, hopefully if we've done a good job, will stay in place. You've got to keep making your society open, and you've got to keep providing opportunities. But if you start to focus on equal results rather than equal opportunity, unfortunately you start to dumb everything down, and if you do that, you're going to get hopelessly left behind.
Democrat Bill de Blasio is going up against Republican Joe Lhota in the mayoral race. Polls have de Blasio with a strong lead heading into the election. And Hillary Clinton hinted at a possible rationale for another presidential bid on Friday, telling a major women's conference that cracking glass ceilings is the great unfinished business of the 21st century. Speaking at the Pennsylvania Conference for Women, the former Secretary of State debuted plans for a new initiative called No Ceilings, meant to encourage opportunities and civic participation for women and girls in the United States and around the world. The room was filled with enormous hope and encouragement for her bid in 2016, the presidential campaign. Showing their support, a group of women ran across the room with displaying a sign saying, "Run, Hillary, run." But some politicians are speaking out against the idea that Hillary Clinton will take the White House come 2016. Mitt Romney is shooting down speculation that Hillary is a sure bet to win the White House. The former governor and Republican presidential candidate spoke this morning on NBC's Meet the Press.
Anybody can be beaten. She's a very well-known figure. Obviously, if she becomes a nominee, we'll be taking a very close look at her record as Secretary of State and seeing what she actually accomplished and where America has gone. I think people will have to think that the last 4 years, last 5 years have not been a great time for America's interests around the world. She's responsible for part of that, and so she'll have a record to be examined.
Clinton, on the other hand, has been enjoying high approval ratings recently. A CNN poll last month found that 59% of Americans have a favorable opinion of Clinton. We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, host of WTOP's Political Riot, Mike Taylor, will be joining me to talk about the Affordable Health Care Act a month after its rollout.
I'm lucky. I get to do something I love.
How many of you think homework is just as important as teamwork?
I help keep kids in school,
Good.
and that's the name of the game.
My name is LaDainian Thomason. I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
Give, advocate, volunteer. Live United.
We are the Tigers from Pack 885. And you are watching WTOP. Yeah.
Attention students and faculty. Avery Rental Properties is now renting for the next school year. Avery accommodates all group sizes, small or large. Avery Rental Properties. Make our house your home. 24-hour maintenance, garbage removal, snow removal, and off-street parking. Avery Rental Properties. 315-343-5005.
The 2013 Louis B. O'Donnell Media Summit. Moderated by ESPN sports broadcaster in class of '87 Steve Levy. Coming to Waterman Theater November 6th. Stay connected by visiting MediaSummit.org for updates.
My husband! Where's my husband?
Stop. What's she doing? She was a passenger. So I was deboning on the passenger side.
We just had some wine. I wasn't even drunk. I was just buzzed.
What? You were just buzzed? Well, sir, you didn't tell us that. In that case, she's just fine.
Yeah. I'm fine.
Really?
No, not really.
Buzz driving. Maybe we should stop acting like it's no big deal.
Welcome back to The Rundown. I'm Megan Roberts. The White House is in damage control over Obamacare because many Americans are being dropped from their current plans. Republicans on Capitol Hill are saying, "We told you so." Dana Bash has the story.
The gentleman from Ohio, Mr. Boehner.
March 2010. Then Minority Leader John Boehner came to the House floor as Democrats were poised to pass Obamacare. He issued this warning.
Look at this bill. Ask yourself, do you really believe that if you like the health plan that you have, that you can keep it? No, you can't.
It's just one example of a Republican effort before the health care bill became law of the land to push back on this presidential sales pitch.
If you like your health care plan, you'll be able to keep your health care plan. Period. No one will take it away, no matter what.
That was the summer of 2009, during the heat of the health care legislative battle. So was this weekly GOP address.
On the stump, the president regularly tells Americans that if you like your plan, you can keep your plan. But if you read the bill, that just isn't so. For starters, within 5 years, every health care plan will have to meet a new federal definition for coverage, one that your current plan might not match, even if you like it.
Fast forward 3 years, that's exactly what's happening. Insurance companies are dropping Americans all across the country from their health plans, many because policies don't have coverage now required under Obamacare. Democrats trying to calm concerned constituents call it a good thing.
If we don't enforce this policy, insurance companies can continue offering flimsy coverage that disappears when people actually need it, and no one should want that.
The HHS secretary struggled to explain. Some current plans are no longer available because they're bad for consumers and no longer legal.
Many women are charged 50% more than men. That will be illegal.
The problem? That's not what people expected when they heard this over and over.
If you like your plan, you can keep your plan.
While Republicans are eager to say, "I told you so," privately, Democrats are increasingly frustrated and regretful that they left Americans with expectations that didn't pan out. In fact, this week, the number 2 House Democrat, Steny Hoyer, said that they should have been, quote, more precise in explaining that people may not be able to keep their current plans if they don't meet new mandatory coverage. Dana Bash, CNN, Capitol Hill.
President Obama acknowledges that the national healthcare website is too slow, but he says the Massachusetts healthcare created by then-Governor Mitt Romney also had troubles. Jonathan Gruber, an economics professor at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, helped design both systems. Gruber says people need to give Obamacare more time.
I guess I'm more frustrated by people's overreaction to it. Look, when we set up our website in Massachusetts, we had monthly reports on enrollment, and even that was maybe too frequent. This is something which success is not to be measured in days or weeks, but months and years. According to the Congressional Budget Office, it'll be about a 3-year ramp-up period till Obamacare is fully effective and its full level of functioning. That's what we saw in Massachusetts as well. So we need to just calm down and stop worrying about days and weeks and focus instead on months and years.
Romney has criticized President Obama's national health care law. The former GOP presidential candidate said if President Obama had learned from the lessons of the Massachusetts law, millions of Americans would not lose their insurance they were promised and wouldn't see their premiums skyrocket. Well, joining me tonight to talk about the Affordable Health Care Act a month after it was implemented is host of WTOP show The Political Riot, Mike Taylor. Mike, thank you for joining me tonight.
Thanks for having me on.
So what was your reaction to all of the things that we have heard by the website failing and people losing their insurance that they want? What was your reaction to this over the last month?
Well, I actually had a bit on this on my show. It was kind of interesting because, first of all, people are too quick to judge, as Gruber was saying, on how well a system is going to work, if it's going to work. Obviously, when you have something of this magnitude that all American people have to buy into, there's going to be issues with that. There's going to be obviously the issue of getting 300 million Americans to jump on that bus with you. Obviously, there's going to be some people that just say, "Oh, well, it's something Obama came up with. It has his name on it, so I don't like it." And that's something that most Americans, you got to say, look, that can't be an issue. Like, this is, you got to give it time. You got to put it forth, and Ted Cruz did this whole green eggs and ham thing. I don't know if you remember that.
I mean, we've seen it go through a government shutdown. We've seen it
go
through votes after vote after vote in the House. So
exactly. Now, the thing I like to say about Ted Cruz is, he says, "I do not like green eggs and ham," but you haven't tried them yet. You sat there, looked at it, and you're like, not doing it. So that's something that Republicans have to say, all right, this isn't going to be instantaneous. We have to give this time, and they have to support the president in that fact. Because, let's be honest, when 2016 rolls around, they're not going to look very good if all they did was beat down everything the president put forward. People are going to look at that and go, "Oh, okay, so, you're just kind of against everything." So, this is something bigger than just health care. This is looking forward.
In regards to the website, CNN has received a confidential document that told the president and his administration that the website was not ready come the October 1st deadline. Do you think that they ignored it, or do you think it was a miscommunication? Because there were over 50 contractors involved in putting together this website. This document came from CGI, who was the main contractor, but do you think there was a lot of miscommunication coming through in regards to how ready the website was?
Well, like you said, there was 50 different contractors, within this project, and when something, like I said, as big as that goes down, there's just so much going on around you that you don't know exactly who's where with what at exactly what time. And let's be honest, there's some companies out there who don't even want to be pegged for the fact that, we have an issue. They're just going to say, "Well, it wasn't us. It could be anybody out here." Mm-hmm. So I think it's just miscommunication, and there's probably 1-2 companies out there who probably dropped the ball, but they're not going to admit it yet. They're going to say, "It wasn't us. It was, this company here, because, they don't want to get pegged at all."
Do you think that the failures of the website are reflective upon the program of itself? Official numbers have come out now that only 6 people in this country were able to access the website and were able to get their information through on day one of the website being up. So what do you think that has to say about the program and about the way the system's being run?
Well, the program itself, I think that the program itself is good. However, how the program is being implemented, that's a little bit different. I figure if you come up with a better way to implement the program, make it easier for people to sign up, get a more solid website out there, figure out another way to let people sign up, then the program goes a lot better because people aren't, having that issue. Because if you can't sign up for it, why support it? So if you come up with a way that you can, make it easy, then, I think that the program will go smoothly.
Do you think that the president misled the country when he repeatedly said that you can keep your health care if you want it?
This is a whole issue of politics. Is you can say whatever you want, and people will believe you. We watched it, and we watched it in every election. We basically, president or elect will come out and say, you can do this and you can do this, and 98% that's probably not true. In the case of Obama saying this, I mean, it's not that he's being untruthful. It's just that this is kind of what everybody does, and it's almost like, if he says it, hopefully it comes true for him. But right now, it's a little shaky.
Now, some people have been losing their health care, their insurance policies that they have had because they don't meet the minimum requirements that are now being implemented by the Affordable Health Care Act. But the Obama administration says that people are going to be getting a more comprehensive coverage. People are coming back and arguing, saying, we don't want it. Do you think that they need to maybe relook at what the mandatory aspects are of an insurance policy? Right now it's that it must cover 60% of all costs. But then it comes with 10 other mandatory requirements such as maternity coverage. But some people are saying, first of all, they're not married. And if you're a male who's not married, you don't need to worry about maternity coverage because it doesn't apply to them. Or that older couples who are past the age of needing maternity care, they don't need it. But the fact that they're paying for it doesn't seem to make sense to them. Do you think they need to relook at those requirements?
Well, definitely. I mean, when you sign up for anything healthcare related, it has to be almost on a sliding scale of who needs it and who doesn't need it. I mean, you can't, I guess what I'm saying is if you have 20 different sockets, you can't just plug your charger into every single one of them and hope it'll charge something. It's not going to work. So you have to, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to create more individualized plans, unfortunately, and that takes a lot of time, which right now with the website and how it is, it's not, Americans are so impatient about it. They don't want to give time.
Well, healthcare industry expert Larry Levitt said on CNN that the winners of this program should, and he predicts will, outweigh the losers of this program. So we will be keeping a close eye on all of the developments of the Affordable Health Care Act as the website starts working correctly and as more people start signing up. We are going to take a quick break. Stay with us. You're watching The Rundown.
The forest is precious. One careless act caused by people and its beauty could be gone for a lifetime. Protect our friends in the forest.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
The 2013 Louis B. O'Donnell Media Summit. Moderated by ESPN sports broadcaster and class of '87 Steve Levy. Coming to Waterman Theater November 6th. Stay connected by visiting MediaSummit.org for updates.
Every night before the show, me and the guys, we like to loosen up a little bit. Blue, 42, hike! Every now and then, Dan likes to take it a little too far. But hey, the show's all about competition, so we'll take it.
Stupid Dan with stupid football and stupid running.
Hi, I'm CNN's Rob Marciano, and you're watching WTOP 10, your television station.
Attention students and faculty. Avery Rental Properties is now renting for the next school year. Avery accommodates all group sizes, small or large. Avery Rental Properties. Make our house your home. 24-hour maintenance, garbage removal, snow removal, and off-street parking. Avery Rental Properties. 315-343-5005.
I'm lucky. I get to do something I love.
How many of you think homework is just as important as teamwork?
I help keep kids in school. Good. And that's the name of the game.
My name is LaDainian Thomason. I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
Give, advocate, volunteer. Live United.
Welcome back. Critics of Obamacare are accusing President Obama of making false promises. At issue is the president's statement during the push to pass the health care reform that those who liked their health care plans could keep them. But some consumers have lost their insurance coverage because of minimum standards established by Obamacare. Democratic Senator Dianne Feinstein had this to say about the controversy.
I think that part of it, if true, was never made clear. It is really very unclear right now exactly what the situation is. And yes, that's a problem, but you know, I think it has to be said, this is a very large, major priority. And if it can get up and running, it can be, I think, a very positive thing. The big problem here is there are so many destroyers in the House, in the public, in the private healthcare sector that just want to destroy.
Well, I mean,
and that's not helpful.
According to the White House, the administration has always said some healthcare plans would not meet new Obamacare requirements. Information on healthcare.gov states an insurance plan meets the minimum value standard if it covers 60% of the total cost of medical services. Starting Friday, federal food stamp benefits were trimmed by $5 billion, and it impacted millions of families. Rosa Flores introduces us to one family where every dollar or even nickel counts.
It sounded like a great idea when it was launched, a program aimed in part at making school lunches healthier.
We're determined to finally take on one of the most serious threats to their future, and that's the epidemic of childhood obesity.
But to fund that war on obesity, the White House borrowed money from the war on hunger.
Some of the funding comes from rolling back a temporary increase in food stamp benefits, or SNAP as it's now called, starting in the fall of 2013.
That's now, when the SNAP program runs out of money from the 2009 American Recovery and Reinvestment Act.
After these cuts, the average benefit per person per meal will be $1.40.
The cuts impact 47 million Americans, including 22 million children on food stamps and 9 million elderly or seriously disabled people, according to the Center of Budget and Policy Priorities.
What'd you have for lunch?
Like Catherine McKinnon, who went from grandma to a single mother of 3 when her daughter died.
That's good for 5 cents.
Each month, she gets $358 in food stamps to feed a family of 4, about $4 a meal in a city where a box of cereal at her local store is $4.50. She sells cans to make ends meet.
No matter how people look at you, just keep your head up.
The president said he'd negotiate more funding with Congress, but negotiating with Congress right now seems unlikely.
I know a number of members of Congress have expressed concerns about this offset being included in the bill, and I'm committed to working with them to restore these funds in the future.
His gamble even upset some congressional Democrats.
I did not want to do that. These were bad choices to make.
Thank you.
McKinnon already supplements food stamps by eating 2 meals a day at a soup kitchen. A Senate version of the next farm bill, which funds food stamps, proposes cutting nearly $4 billion more over 10 years. The one in the House cuts $39 billion more.
We need to reform the food stamp program with better policies. I'm not so much concerned about the planned spending that will be reduced as is getting policies that promote work and dignity.
For Catherine McKinnon, it's just about making ends meet.
I just learned how to survive.
Well, we are going to take a quick break, and when we come back, Mike Taylor will rejoin me to talk about heat the NSA is receiving. Stay with us. You're watching The Rundown.
Get your Smokey on. If you see someone in danger of starting a wildfire, step in and make a difference, because 9 out of 10 wildfires can be prevented.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Down 70 to 35, and the Cougars were getting smoked like a cheap cigar.
So what sets the Rundown apart from other newscasts is that it brings students together to voice their opinions on the world's most important political issues.
There seems to be just more events going on in 2012 than there were in previous years combined.
This nation is based on the foundation that we choose the government.
Do we use 1, 2, and 3? We work hard to bring you the most up-to-date, relevant coverage of the stories you should be following. The country has now gone over the fiscal cliff.
Is gun control necessary? How much is too much?
Does it surprise you that it's taken this long to have a serious talk about gun control? Students need to realize that this is the time when what's going on in Capitol Hill and around the world starts to affect them.
And really, the fate of the entire country is at hand here.
This is it.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go camera 2.
Good evening and welcome to the Rundown. I'm Megan Roberts.
Attention students and faculty. Avery Rental Properties is now renting for the next school year. Avery accommodates all group sizes, small or large. Avery Rental Properties. Make our house your home. 24-hour maintenance, garbage removal, snow removal, and off-street parking. Avery Rental Properties. 315-343-5005.
And welcome back. Well, joining me again tonight is the host of the Political Rundown, Mike Taylor. Mike, thank you for joining me. So now I kind of want to talk about a developing story that's coming out of Washington and it's affecting the entire world is what we've been hearing about the NSA and how they've been spying on our allies. What do you think about this?
I don't like it when people listen to me over my shoulder. I can't imagine how another country feels when we literally just come out and say, yeah, we were listening to you. Like that, you gotta trust, these are allies. Allies are, your political friends. So if you're not trusting your friends, you gotta look at that and go, okay, well, something's wrong here. Because that's the first thing you gotta trust. If I was any of these countries that are being spied on right now, I would be furious.
And of course they are, and they are reacting quite negatively towards the Obama administration and the U.S. in general for hearing about the NSA listening in on phone calls and spying on them. This, of course, comes out of leaks that were brought out by Edward Snowden about the NSA and how they are tapping into phone calls. But what has been said by the NSA and by the U.S. Defense Department is that everybody's doing it. Do you really think that's the case?
Just because everybody's doing it doesn't necessarily make it right. I know I sound probably like my mother here, but I mean, that's just how it is. I mean, you can say everybody's doing it, but the other thing is everyone can be doing it, but you got caught doing it. I mean, point fingers wherever you want to, but you know what? If you did it, you got caught doing it. That's all you can say.
And the Obama administration has said that they didn't know about these wiretappings and they didn't know the NSA was listening in on our allies' conversations and phone calls and spying on them. Do you think that's true?
Well, it seems pretty consistent with Obama's, since he's been in office, that for some reason he doesn't know what anybody is doing. Now, granted, he's got a lot of issues on his plate, so people might be taking advantage of this. I know there's several Republicans who probably look at this, Republicans who are in obviously higher standings in these areas that could listen in, that say, you know what, whatever with the president, we're going to do what we want to do. And that's not uncommon, I guess. They've done that before. So, I mean, I really don't think he really knows about it. I think this comes out and it impacts negatively on him, but he doesn't know what's going on.
There might be a certain extent that he knows about it.
To be honest, no? I think he knows what's on the surface, but I don't think whatever's going on beneath that. I think they're handing him a nice present, but it's like the cartoon in the present there's a bomb. So, that's not.
With what we've seen from the leaks that were exposed by Edward Snowden, do you think this is a case of spy agencies gone rogue?
I wouldn't go as far as spy agencies gone rogue, per se. I'd say it's spy agencies being sneaky. That's what a spy agency is. They kind of like to skulk around and, do what they're going to do. And I think they've just lost control of the fact that they are, despite what they are still under the president. Like, that is who they have to look to.
Well, I want to thank Mike for being on my show tonight. Be sure to check out his political show, The Political Riot, on WTOP. For everyone here tonight, thank you for joining us. I'm Megan Roberts. Have a good night.